First is Matthew Perry, world famous as Chandler from Friends. This is from his autobiography, which was released in 2022. So this is the first time that he drank alcohol, and it was with the neighbor kids in his backyard, and they were 14 years old.
And I realized that for the first time in my life, nothing bothered me. The world made sense. It wasn't bent and crazy. I was complete, at peace. I had never been happier than in that moment. This is the answer, I thought. This is what I've been missing. This must be how normal people feel all the time. I don't have any problems. It's all gone. I don't need attention. I'm taken care of. I'm fine. I was in bliss. I had no problems for 3 hours. I wasn't abandoned. I wasn't fighting with my mom. I wasn't doing lousy in school. I wasn't wondering what life was about and my place in it. It took away everything.
Matthew Perry died of a drug overdose in 2023. He was 54 years old. Now we have Max Crosby, who is a professional American footballer. He plays for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Honestly, from day one, like when I started in high school.
Oh, you were drinking in high school?
Yo, hell yeah.
Wow.
And the first time I ever drank in high school, I was like, I'm in love. I'm in love. Like this, I could go up to any chick and talk now. Like I was a middle child, redhead. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't the most confident kid growing up. And yeah, so once I had the first drink of alcohol, I was like, I feel like a new man. So yeah, it's just kind of, what it was for me. So
Max has been very open about his struggles, and he tries to help other addicts when he can. He has been sober since he went to rehab in early 2020, and his NFL career is still going strong. Now we have Drew Barrymore, America's sweetheart, famously appearing in E.T. as a child. She's been in too many movies to name, and she currently hosts a very successful talk show. This is from a 1990 interview with Oprah when Barrymore was 15 years old.
So you started drinking at 9? Mm-hmm. To prove a point, or to feel good, or to get drunk, or what?
Well, I didn't really know. I mean, when I was 8, I had 2 glasses of champagne. And boom, I was like tipsy and, bubbly and the life of the party. And I felt so good. All my problems had seemed, to disappear for that hour that I was out of it. And I didn't realize that until I was 9, and I started casually drinking and realized,
Where would you get alcohol from at 9?
Barrymore has been sober since 2019. She has said that sobriety has been one of the most liberating things in my journey of life. Next is Anthony Bourdain, chef, writer, TV presenter. This is from his excellent book, Kitchen Confidential. Just for context, in the following passage, Bourdain is reminiscing about childhood summers spent in his Aunt Jeanne's house in southwestern France. I'm not sure exactly, but I believe that he's referring to a time when he would have been around 9 or 10 years old. The Monsieur Saint-Jour that he references was an oyster fisherman and a neighbor of his aunt.
For the rest of that summer and in later summers, I'd often slip off by myself to the little stands by the port, where one could buy brown paper bags of unwashed, black-covered oysters by the dozen. After a few lessons from my new soulmate, blood brother and bestest buddy, Monsieur Saint-Jour, who is now sharing his after-work bowls of sugared Van Ordinaire with me, I could easily open the oysters by myself, coming in from behind with the knife and popping the hinge like it was Aladdin's cave. I'd sit in the garden among the tomatoes and the lizards and eat my oysters and drink Kronenbergs. France was a wonderland for underage drinkers, happily reading Modesty Blaise and the Katzenjammer Kids and the lovely hardbound bande dessinée in French until the pictures swam in front of my eyes, smoking the occasional pilfer jeton. And I still associate the taste of oysters with those heady, wonderful days of illicit late-afternoon buzzes, the smell of French cigarettes, the taste of beer, that unforgettable feeling of doing something I shouldn't be doing. But I frequently look back at my life, searching for that fork in the road, trying to figure out where exactly I went bad, I became a thrill-seeking, pleasure-hungry sensualist, always looking to shock, amuse, terrify, and manipulate, seeking to fill that empty spot in my soul with something new. I like to think it was Monsieur Saint-Jeur's fault, but of course, it was me all along.
Bourdain committed suicide in 2018. He was 61 years old. Now we have Selma Blair, an American actress known for her roles in Cruel Intentions, Legally Blonde, The Sweetest Thing, and the Hellboy franchise.
You had your first drink when you were a little girl, 7 years old.
Yeah, my first drunk when I was 7. I had my first drinks, much younger. Even as a little kid, you're like, that's a comfort.
I'm quoting from an interview she gave with Cosmopolitan magazine when she was promoting her autobiography, Mean Baby, a memoir of growing up. In her autobiography, Mean Baby, she writes, "The first time I got drunk, it was a revelation," she said, revealing she first drank alcohol, Manischewitz, a brand of kosher wine, during Passover. Light flooded through me, filling me up with the warmth of God, she recalled of how she felt afterwards. But the year I was 7, when we basically had Manischewitz on tap and no one was paying attention to my consumption level, I put it together. The feeling was not God, but fermentation. The actor continued, "I got drunk that night, very drunk. Eventually, I was put in my sister Katie's bed with her. In the morning, I didn't remember how I'd gotten there." After her first experience of being drunk, Selma said she avoided getting to that level for a while, instead, just taking sips whenever my anxiety would alight. I usually barely even got tipsy. I became an expert alcoholic, adept at hiding my secret. Selma Blair has been sober since 2016. She has said that sobriety helped her get diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS, in 2018. She credits sobriety with allowing her to realize that she had neurological issues and that she needed to get help. Finally, there's Jason Isaacs, who is an English actor who is best known for his role as Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter series. He's been in too many other films to mention. In recent years, he's starred in The OA. I'm quoting an interview with Isaacs from the Independent newspaper. The actor recalled the first time he got drunk at 12 years old and how the experience instigated an addiction problem. The barman, who we thought at the time was a hero and I now realize belonged in prison, sneaked us a full bottle of Southern Comfort, he said. I vomited, fell on and pulled down a giant curtain, snogged a girl, God bless her, ran out into the street, vomited again, tripped, smashed my head open on the pavement and gushed blood all over my clothes. The OA star continued, "The next morning I woke up with a splitting headache, stinking of puke, with a huge scab, and the memory of having utterly shamed myself. All I could think was, I cannot wait to do that again. Why? I've no idea. Genes? Nurture? Star sign? I just know I chased the sheer ecstatic joy I felt that night for another 20 years with increasingly dire consequences." Isaacs has been sober since the late 90s. He's been open about his addictions and has encouraged anyone who is struggling to seek help. The common thread here is that for all of these individuals, alcohol comes as a revelation. As Selma Blair put it, light flooded through me, filling me up with the warmth of God. The anxiety and worries that had plagued their young lives suddenly disappear. All problems are solved as they are washed over with a salving buzz. It's understandable that naive, inexperienced children would think that alcohol is the solution to all problems. But as adults, we should know that alcohol is not the solution to all problems. The addict doesn't know this and will continue to drink, looking for the euphoria and the sense of salvation that they experience during those early experiences with alcohol. However, alcohol deals in ever diminishing returns, and the consequences of drinking become more and more serious. As Jason Isaacs puts it, I chased the sheer ecstatic joy I felt that night. That's the night of his first drink. For another 20 years, with increasingly dire consequences.